please stand. Look at everybody stand already.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all for watching and being here. We have a short agenda tonight. I'll make mine very short. The only thing I really wanted to say is don't forget My Fest is this weekend. There'll be a lot more people than normal, so please be careful when you're out there on the streets. Look out for the people walking across, because they do that. And that's all I really got. City Administrator.
Sales tax deposit for May is only $338 less than last year for the same month. So we are still running 2% ahead year to date. Lodging tax taking a little surge, and now it's 4% over last year to date, with just 2 more deposits to go for the fiscal year. So that's good. An update on, you've heard me talk several times about the potential of the Senate Bill 57 sales tax exemption that was going on in the state legislature. It is, MML confirmed it's dead. So that had stalled out completely, and so that would have had a huge impact on us at 12% of our sales tax revenue. So,
and that was on the groceries? Is that on
yes,
food?
that's right. That's right. So that was welcome news. As you know, our building inspector had given his 60-day notice a few weeks back, and we've been accepting applications, and we have some interviews for this week. Hoping to get somebody hired relatively quickly so that they can train with Mike a little while. City clerk, same thing. We've been advertising, and hopefully we'll be getting some interviews together maybe for next week for the same purpose of having some training time with Corey. The next comprehensive plan element meeting we've been discussing, it's the housing meeting. It is May 21st, and due to the library flooding and due to the food pantry being in the cafeteria, we'll try to make this room work. So May 21st, 1 o'clock, right here. The SRF bonds, again for our wastewater project and lift station improvements. I wasn't expecting any contact from the state for a couple months, but they actually emailed me and they want to set up a preliminary meeting with me and the engineer and Jesse probably, and going over some of the paperwork issues. And then they sent me a checklist for all the documents that I can start gathering in preparation to get that project moving forward. And Corey, did you send out liquor licenses recently?
They're going out tomorrow, or if they didn't get out today, they'll be out tomorrow.
Okay, and they are, for anybody out there watching, those are due June 30th. And then, do we want to mention that our, historically, the second board meeting in May, we usually move to Tuesday due to Memorial Day falling on that Monday. I think we may have mentioned that already. That would make the next meeting Tuesday, May 27th. Does that suit you, all of you?
Very good. Thank you.
All right, that's all I had.
Public Works.
Parks has been mowing and working on the pool. They had to clean it up again. The big gully washer washed a bunch of muddy water into it, so kind of doing double work on that. And then they had a little bit of storm damage they've been working on cleanup. The water department has been working on Schiller, and they also repaired the fire hydrants that were on the list. The gas department has installed a couple services and is working on some OQ. The sewer department went out after the big rain last week and pulled a couple manholes to look for some I&I issues, just to try to identify them with the rain. Travis is working on getting us some parts for the UV system. We've got several drivers that went out on startup of the unit at the lagoon. Electric has been working on system inventory and mapping, as well as working on GIS locations for the ball field utilities for the incoming new ball field lights. Streets has been working on storm cleanup as well, and they've been mowing and patching potholes. They also helped the water department put down some asphalt on Schiller Street last week, and they will be asphalting the remainder, I believe, tomorrow of what's cut for that. So hopefully, if we do have a little gravel spot, it'll be minimal.
Very good. Any questions? Thank you. And no public comments. We'll move to old business, which is the electric utility rates. Everybody, does anybody have any discussion? What we discussed, I think everybody had pretty well agreed on the 7.5. Moving forward. I had, just to throw a kinker in that a little bit, I had a meeting the other evening with a couple of business owners, and it made a little bit of sense to me. So what they recommended is that this first year, what we really should do is a 10% increase. Second year, 7.5, and that way we can cut that last year down to 3 or under probably. So just thought I'd throw that out there.
I would make mention that Chad had floated that concept as well to me.
Okay, well, I'm just saying that, we just had a discussion and that made sense to me, but I just wanted to throw it out there. You all are the ones that have to make that decision. Like I say, I think we pretty well thought about the 7.5, but ball's in your court. Any discussion?
I mean, I think it's better to go down each year instead of stay the same. We know that the 7.5 isn't enough for year 2. So that was my idea, to have 10 the first year, 7.5, and then, a lower number in the third year. At least 7.5, so.
I mean, for what it's worth, I think it was Monday, the PSC approved a 12% for Hermann, so this increase is, any increase up to that would be, in my mind, justifiable.
What do y'all think?
And we're still on board for year 1, 0% gross revenue receipts, correct?
Correct. That didn't, what I was talking about didn't affect that. I don't have any figures on the difference in numbers as far as what that would calculate, but
I'd have to run it.
yeah, that's fine. It's just a suggestion, like I say,
Because I believe with the 7.5% increase, that was going to generate an additional, is it
250.
250? Okay.
If we don't do anything with the 3-phase service fees, it would be right around 250, based off historic consumption.
But at 10%, it's not going to get us to the final outcome either.
no.
So what ties in what we're doing later here is this upcoming budget year, we got to find where we're going to get that kind of money to help electric the second year. Because go 10%, then 7.5, we're still going to be short. We'll still be in the red.
But you won't be as deep in the red. Hopefully. Yeah, so. So any recommendations of what you want to do? We need to make a decision tonight because we're working on the budget and we have to know.
So we have no figures on what it's going to do for the next 3 years? You said 10% this coming year and 7.5%?
Yeah, like I say, this was just
in
a Saturday night discussion that, and it made sense to me,
I'd have to run it. I can.
I don't know exactly what the numbers
You
would
would need a
be.
few minutes if you're actually considering that.
Well, I just was
Yes,
throwing it
that's
out there for
using
another
them.
option. I don't, I'm not trying to change the,
Yeah, I don't want to arbitrarily throw out percentage points without seeing what that's going to do to the bottom line. But we all know that whatever percentage point we throw out won't
Honestly, for easy figuring, it's gonna add 25%, right? Because it was 7.5, you're adding another 2.5 cents.
Right.
So it just add 25%.
So,
So we're talking, what, 315?
Yeah.
Is it 252, Trish? That's what's in my head. Does that sound right to you?
I thought it was 248.
Okay, so we'll call it 250.
You might be right, we've been looking at that a
That'd be
couple times.
312.
I mean, it still puts us way short, but it is a little bit better for year two.
yeah.
Because very well could be year 2 would be 10%.
10%.
I would rather have the bigger increase in year 1 than in year 2.
Keep in mind, you're talking about a 3-year plan, so this would be implemented by an ordinance, and you can pass an ordinance that says it'll be this, and then as of whatever date, 2026, it'll be this, and whatever date, 2027, it'll be this, but any board of aldermen can change that.
It's not subject, it's not set in concrete.
So what would the residential rate be
Give me just
per
a second.
kilowatt hour?
And I will tell you.
It'd be 10 something, 1075, 1065.
Because I believe the actual 7.5% was going to change our average residential user by 5.7. So this 10% could potentially change the average residential user actual usage by 7.5%. Because it's not on the raw rate.
0.10659 would be the new residential per kilowatt per hour.
Right. I agree with you.
Right now it's 0.0969.
Because I think 7.5% came up to 0.1042, if I remember.
Yeah, that's right. So, the new residential rate would be 1066. The new light rate, no demand, would be 1053. The new light rate with demand would be 922. The new power rate 1 would be 875, and the new power rate 2 would be 782.
And this is gonna generate how much?
It was 252, you were right.
Oh man, my brain's good.
Well, the spreadsheet was 248, but when we settled on,
Well, so, I mean, just figure 312, that's cutting it in half. We'll split between 248 and 252, and it'd be 312.5.
That is halfway there, as far as the deficit
For this year.
for this year.
Next year, it might be higher.
Well, that's without, I think Trish sent you guys that email that we got from Southwest, so. Now that's,
On the hydroelectric?
yeah.
they're going up too.
Now, that's a small portion of where we get our power, and it's the cheapest power we get, so I don't anticipate it's gonna be a gigantic difference, but we got that just here directly, so.
Okay, I mean, you know, it's up to you guys. I just wanted to throw that out there. I just thought it sounded like a better deal in my mind.
And then the other thing, I don't know if you all were still discussing off of our spreadsheet from our last workshop, was the optional fees. To the phase 3.
Yeah, so I figured 3 different options there. There's 2 of them are kind of, you're gonna do one or the other. And that was either a $15 or $20 increase to the 3-phase demand customers. And then one of them was a $5 increase to all of the single-phase commercial customers.
Now, Jesse, just curious, if this went to, say, a hypothetical multi-unit dwelling that had 3-phase servicing it, would each customer would be considered a 3-phase customer?
As far as I know, we don't have any of those off the top of my head. We don't have any dwellings that are fed to 3-phase. They may be the recipient from a building that has 3-phase, but the service itself is only utilizing, yeah.
Okay.
And the $5 is mainly on people that are not using. Like
So-
the guest houses, for
Yeah, so
example.
this would kind of balance out what we've lost on the consumption, because I think we've got like 100 and, don't quote me here, because this number I don't remember, but I think it's like 117 guest houses that I figure were single-family dwellings prior, and it would help us kind of recoup some of that and cover the system costs related to them.
I would be in favor of the 3-phase increase,
Yeah, $15, I think.
but I do not want to do, at least this year, the single phase.
Single phase, you mean like
Your average resident.
individual
Well,
residential homes?
So it wouldn't be residential home. I didn't figure residences.
Yeah.
I figured only single-phase commercial.
Okay.
So that was strictly businesses. Anybody that has a business license and is using the premises as a business.
And that's gonna go up how much?
$5, I think, is what I had calculated.
So that would go up $5, and then the 3-phase would go up 15.
Yeah, either or. You've got the numbers there, I think, for both
Yeah.
15 and 20, but either one of those is justifiable in my mind.
So the $5 single phase increase isn't for residential, it's
Correct.
for businesses,
Correct.
It's gonna be
Guest
covered by
houses.
yeah.
Mainly the guest house.
And so if you don't have that in front of you, the $5 option would produce $24,060. The $15 option on 3-phase would be $19,440. Or the $20 option on 3-phase is $25,920.
Yeah.
Or either by that 3-phase, like townhouses.
Okay, so you're just interested in doing the 5?
Now I am, yes. Now
Okay.
that that was clarified, yes, I am in favor of the $5 for the single
Everybody
phase.
else in favor of that? So what we need to do, though, we need to make a decision on the rate here. You guys have to, somebody has to make a motion, whichever way you want to go.
No, overall, this is pretty short notice, not having any time to think about it.
But we have to do it tonight.
No, we
Sorry.
don't. We still got another meeting coming.
No,
I mean, short notice.
No,
why
I'm
didn't
saying
we-
we're gonna do it tonight. She has to do the budget. So,
Well, I'll make the motion to increase the meter fees on the $5 for the single phase, $15 for the 3-phase, and I will make a motion for the first year of our 3-year plan to increase rates to 10%.
okay. We have a motion on the floor. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Aye.
You're both opposed?
Correct.
Any reason for being opposed?
There was no discussion regarding the 10% or any other,
Same with you?
Same with me.
I'm sorry, I need something, I'm a figures person, I need to see it in front of me.
Well, I guess we'll do it this way. We have a split decision. I will,
If we saw it in, before the finish of our budget workshop, would that be,
It still needs to be done by ordinance with 2 readings,
Right.
right?
Yes.
And it's to go into effect July 1st, so.
Do you want Jesse to run some spreadsheets and take up electric at the end of the night?
Well, I don't think that's fair to, I don't think it's fair to him.
I can plug them in. Just get some direction. I got 5 years that I can plug them into with relative, not a lot of time.
Well, the mayor can break the tie.
I can break the tie. Right. And I think that's exactly what I'll do.
I just don't, I think we all know the problems facing us in the next 3 years. And I know it's, we knew 7.5% was only the first step.
It would look better if we were a united front on this. I mean, it is for our community. We are elected for the community. It would be nice for us to be together as one, but
And don't, if you need, if time is what it takes, don't let my timeline affect you. You just take all the time you need.
Well, I have a problem because we were talking about 7.5% to begin with. Then it went to 21.5%. Then it went down to 7.5%. Now it's 10%. Is it going to be 15% next week? I don't know. That's,
The 21% was just what I had to come up with to make the shortfall.
Yeah, that was never a figure that we were actually shooting for. That
It
was
was
just what we
discussed.
needed to be in the black. What's the
That's
21%?
what was presented at our first workshop.
Yeah, and it is.
7.5.
Yeah.
Went to the meeting thinking that, and then, oh no, we need 21.5. This, even if Jesse plugs it in his computer tonight, I want some time to look at
How much time do you need?
I got all the time in the world. But Chad doesn't.
He's, yeah, I'm not working.
He's well. That is a snag because he's leaving on vacation
next Tuesday.
next Tuesday, and we'll be back June 2nd.
Yes.
Well, can Chad still, you have access to email? Can Chad weigh in with presented items via email?
No, it could be FaceTime if he wants to vote in a meeting. You're counting as president if you FaceTime.
You're saying if we have another budget workshop next week?
Oh, and then do another budget workshop.
I thought that's what you were suggesting.
Oh, I thought you were talking
Now,
about.
we're talking about this vote. If,
Well, again, you're gonna vote on this 3 times, right?
Right.
So a person could even ask, what is tonight's vote? I guess tonight's vote is, what it really is, I guess it gives you direction on what to plug in your budget, and it tells me what ordinance I have to prepare, not even for the next meeting, but we usually, for the first meeting in June and the second meeting in June, right? So theoretically, it could end up being, with more discussions and more votes, it could end up being something different than even what the majority voted in favor of tonight, once you get the ordinance readings and time and all that stuff. But I know for purposes of moving things along, we would like to settle on
All right.
Ideally, yes.
Purpose of my motion was to move forward with looking at a slightly aggressive year one increase. Agreed.
Well, I look at this, we need to move forward, and in my opinion, it's the best option for us to do, so I'm gonna split the vote, and I'm gonna vote in favor of the 10. And then, that way she can move forward with doing the budget. With that said, we have no new business, we'll move on to motion. I have a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting.
So moved.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Invoices for payment, do I have a motion to pay the bills?
I move we pay the bills.
I have a motion to pay the bills, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Reappoint Dolores Brandman to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Motion to approve that.
Motion to approve.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
I will second that.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Abstain.
Got it. Conditional use permit renewal for Forward Invest LLC, Patrick Flatley, owner unoccupied guest house at 211 East 4th Street. And a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Festival event application for Historic Hermann Incorporated, authentic tin type photography at 312 Schiller Street, May 17th and 18th.
Motion to approve.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. Approved destruction of police department records in accordance with the state law.
Motion to approve.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. There's two things that are not on your agenda here, and that's to ratify a couple of the lifeguards. Grace Closerman, Klotzer, and Avery Holyfield. So I need to have an approval so we can approve those two for the lifeguard positions.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? So carried. We have no reports. I have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Motion's made, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? We're adjourned. Thank you everyone for watching. Those in attendance.